afternoon, everyone. So it's time for a garden tour. Yeah, we've had a huge amount of rain in the last 3 weeks. It has been fantastic. But it's meant that I've been delaying doing a video because I was waiting for the rain to stop, and then I was waiting for the lawnmower guy to come, and then he wasn't coming because it was raining, and now he's not coming until April, so you guys get a severely overgrown yard and can see how things are going. I have been in here and trimmed things off a bit because I had to get to the water tank, so trimmed back some of the leucaena and gave it to the goats as food, which they absolutely devoured in a millisecond just about. Check out these pawpaws. I mean, look at them. They are doing fantastically. I'm so pleased, and my moringa's doing really, really well. This is one that I started from cuttings last year, and it's been in a pot most of the time. I got a sweet potato in under here that's doing really, really well. Oh, and let's check on that pumpkin. There's a pumpkin in the video in the last garden tour. There she is. She's nearly ready to pick. So yeah, she's doing really, really well. And this pawpaw is doing really well. I'm still not quite sure how I'm going to handle frost for these two little pawpaws, because apparently they don't cope well with it. So I have probably planted them in the wrong spot. So I'm hoping for a mild winter. My boys are hoping for snow, which I told them is never going to happen in Queensland. Oh no, there are parts of Queensland that get snow. The Lockyer Valley is not one of them that I'm aware of. Although apparently there was snow in Ipswich and snow in Toowoomba. So I guess it might be possible, but I'm hoping for a mild winter because we are not set up to deal with snow. My parsley is doing really well. The tomato that I put in there, oh, it's not dead. It's not thriving. The basil's going to seed. That moringa's doing well. My pond plants over there, if you can see them, are buried in grass, like most of the garden. I can barely walk through here. The grass is so long, and our mower's not working, so the only mowers I've got are goats. And they're a little bit difficult to control. Excuse me, I've just stood on a prickle. So back to the garden tour. But there are a lot of prickles that have come up, and I wish we could have dug them up when they were little, because they've now gone to flower and they're starting to become a real problem. And comfrey is doing amazingly. It is just jumping out of the ground with all of this rain. The cassava is doing fantastically. The trees in pots are doing well. The pella is doing fantastically, although it keeps falling over. The roo's doing well. And look at my bean. This is the bean that I'm doing as part of the single seed challenge. My Madagascar bean from Andy from McDowell Manor. It's doing fantastically. Another comfrey is doing really well, along with the tansy. Is that the tansy or the rue? Yeah, no, that's the tansy. So the tansy's the one with the yellow flower. And the rue's another one. They're both really good herbs to have around chicken coops. My ponytail's recovering from being eaten by the goats. Let's see, jungle. I've got to work out how to get the goats over here without them eating that stuff, which is possibly impossible. Not that I normally use impossible around any word to do with anything, because I normally try and find a way around things. This grass was all that same height yesterday afternoon, and that garden bed was covered in sweet potato vines. I attached the goat to the tree, and the chain was a little bit too long, and you can see where she was able to get to. she demolished my sweet potato. She didn't touch the passion fruit vine, so that's really good. But this bed was doing fantastically before Laura ate it. So Laura is now over here, and hopefully she hasn't gone and got herself tangled. I did have her here last night, and she cleaned that area up nicely for me and was able to reach there. So I'm really hoping... Oh, I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes again. So yes, she's just about demolished this area and it's gotten tangled in the electric net. Oh, electric fence. That's not a good thing. This moringa is definitely not doing any good at all. One goat is down there for some reason. I don't know. Actually, that wasn't dead. There was some green in that. But it's got no roots. Oh, it might be forming a little bit. I might put that in a pot and see if I can get it to come back to life. Or come to life. I don't know. I'll do something with that maybe. Let's put that down there for now. But it's still got some green in there. So I've been trying to get that one to shoot for ages. But this is what happens when I let the goats anyway. It's a problem. She has jumped over the wires or gone through the wires and done something. And this is... I shouldn't have had her so close to the electric fence, I guess, when it wasn't on. But I couldn't put it on at the moment because the grass is so green and so high, it just isn't going to work. I'm going to have to undo her chain. I'll be back in a second. Marbella is being very good. She hasn't gotten tangled in anything. So she's in there cleaning up that disaster area for me. I'm hoping Laura doesn't step through that barbed wire fence and get all completely tangled in there. But she probably will. And I'll probably have to come and get her untangled, which is a bit of a pest. But I actually didn't realise that she could get through there, but she has, and the only way I could stop her is to decrease the length of the chain, but then she can't reach half the grass. So, oh, I don't know. And she was naughty today while being milked. She put her foot in the milk. So the chickens got Laura's milk and Marbella's, so best part of 2 litres the Chooky Chooks got. So, and the girls are doing well. I've actually got all of the chickens in here now except for the white Australorps. And I've put extra deep bedding in here. And that was full with milk this morning, as was that green container that's buried. Don't want that buried. I know that is because that's where I put food for them at various times. But the girls are doing very well. They're very happy in here on their deep bedding, creating some lovely compost for me, which makes me happy and will make my garden happy. They probably don't like the goat being just outside, but they're not doing too badly. They're all laying well, so that's fantastic. And I've put a batch of chickens in the incubator, so, well, not a batch of chickens, but a batch of eggs. So I had some eggs from the white Australorps, eggs from the white Australorps and eggs from the Rhode Island Reds. So I put them together. So I still haven't managed to get the girls in to that disaster area in there. And it's partially because I haven't figured out how to get them in and out with the electric poly wire the way it is. It's just creating a bit of a challenge. Our dam is very full. I've got a video on that. Horses and the cows are still here. They haven't been picked up yet. Let's see, what else have we got going on? In this area over here, set up for another aquaponics system to get set up in it. And I've got my veggies in a pot over there. They're doing nicely. We'll go up there and check them out nicely. So this is part of the SHEDWARS challenge, was to have vegetables growing in a pot. Parsley doesn't look that great, but it doesn't look that great when I first put it in there, so it's still alive. Leeks are doing well. Lettuce is doing well. No seeds have germinated in there yet though. Peas haven't germinated. Strawberries doing well. I've got a thyme over there that I need to plant down there. But I've got to get that sorted. And the chard is doing well. Sorry, mosquitoes again. And I've still got a heap of pots there that I need to plant up. So that's this little area. little spot here is doing well, but not as well as the other end of this bed. I do have some sweet potatoes going okay. So these are the potatoes that got started in the aquaponics. That pineapple, surprisingly enough, has not died. That's the one that the goat ate. That's the other one the goat ate. That's also doing okay. It's got a new crown happening. I probably need to tip all that water out. And my pineapple in a pot, I did a video on that and how to grow pineapple. It's doing really well. Really pleased with that. It's clearly enjoying all this lovely weather. I need to tip the water out of that pot. Oh dear. There's always 101 things to do. So the pigeon pea is recovering after the goats ate it. So really pleased with that. Now over here, and I've still got these plants. These are water plants that really, they would do beautifully in the dam. So at the moment they're just sitting in water, and half of that's because the rain filled it up. But they're doing well. I haven't killed them yet. This is a cutting, or it wasn't cutting, it was a plant actually of a curry leaf tree that I picked up from Eagleby Road before we left. It's not dead. It's not thriving, but it's not dead. This moringa isn't doing very well. But I think I need to get it out of the pot. Strangely enough, the pot's actually dry, so it hasn't actually gotten a lot of water, which is probably what its problem is. It's in one of those pots that just fill up with water, which is a real problem. Oh, I'm going into Mozzie Central here. It's the wrong time of day to be coming in here. But anyway, my rosemary's doing well, my parsley's doing well here. My little gerbera over there is doing well, gerbera there's doing well. This moringa is doing fantastically. And I've got, there's an elderberry there and another gerbera. The tomato I planted here just disappeared, so I don't know what happened to it. Maybe a rodent. My lemon balm's doing well. That is a marigold. So is that. I'll have to plant another tomato there. There's I got some echinacea plants, and that's a snapdragon. That's oregano. That's a mulberry in a pot that I got that one from Tyler. It's still alive. I haven't killed it, Tyler. I haven't planted it yet either, but I haven't killed it. Sorry, I'm moving the camera a bit quick. There's another moringa. Oh, look at that. Hey, that one's doing well. I really need to do something with the moringas, but we just haven't been well. We've had a virus for the last 3 weeks going through the house. Matthew's starting to get better now, but he's still going to miss Boys Brigade tonight. Parsley's doing well. Another echinacea. That's some mint. And that plant I actually planted here, but it's also growing around the other side of that mulberry plant. So that's a couple more mulberry plants. Those were some some pawpaw seeds that I put in the soil, and they've germinated nicely. My ponytail's doing well. It's got a couple of new shoots on it. The fruit salad plant is doing really well. Oh, there's a lemongrass in there from Tyler as well. That one's not doing half as well. I think it's not liking the lack of sun, because these two here are doing fantastically. Really happy with how well the lemongrass is going. This is a lucina and a wormwood that I got from my neighbour. So all I've done is I've put the pot inside the other pot, so that when I'm watering one, I'm watering both. That's peppermint, which looks like it's starting to die off. I don't think it's liked all the water. And that's one of my gerbera flowers. So I've had a couple of little flowers come up. They're geraniums, I think. That is a citronella. So I've got the citronella, the lemongrass, and the lavender growing here as a natural way of deterring mosquitoes. So I come past when the mosquitoes are really horrible and rub through the plants to try and get some of the fragrances into the air to deter the mosquitoes. Tomatoes here, and it's right next to the goat milking stand. So when I strip out the goat's milk, I give that to the tomatoes, because tomatoes need lots of calcium. And then I got a couple of elderberries and some gerberas there as well, as long as marigold. because marigolds go really well next to tomatoes. They help to deter nematodes, the bad ones. I should have planted some basil over here too, but I got basil coming out of my ears. Let's go check on some other things that are growing. Let's go over there and check on the mango. Okay, so this is the bones of one of my goat shelters. I got another one over there, but I haven't planted the plants out in that one yet. And I've got this here to protect my mango tree. And I got a little quinoa there. And I put some pigeon pea seeds in, and look at that! There's a pigeon seed come up. Pigeon pea. Another pigeon pea here. Now, pigeon peas are a fantastic nitrogen fixer. They're a legume that you can eat the peas as well. So you can use them as similar to lentils. The leukina is a great pigeon. The leukina is a great nitrogen fixer as well. So both the leukina and the pigeon pea are fantastic for animal fodder, and they're fantastic for nitrogen fixing. And the pigeon pea can also use to eat the peas. Self-sown pumpkin going nuts. Grass going nuts in spots where I've had the goats. I'm so excited about how the grass is going in some areas of the paddock. And I've got my little mulberry in here. Now I put some pigeon pea seeds in here as well, but I can't see any of them coming up yet. And that's okay. That mulberry is not doing well. It keeps getting eaten by the goats. But I didn't have this up then. Now I've got that up. It should protect it. But I've put I've put pigeon pea seeds all along these rolled out bits of hay. So where I've rolled out the hay, I've put some pigeon peas in various spots along here. But you can see this area is growing so much better than the other areas, and the goats don't like that grass. Neither do the horses or the cows. I had the horses and the cows in here for a little while. They smashed all the good grass and left all that stuff over there. I was really quite disappointed, actually. None of the pigeon peas here seem to have come up yet, and that's okay. They may or may not come up. It's not tragic if they don't, because I do have those two next to the mango tree. I can't see any along here either. But that mango, that area where I've got the mango, has been well fertilised, and it's been well watered before the rain came as well. So this is another area that I had the goats in, and these are one of my little goat shelters that I make, where I use 4 IBCs where I can store water in, which makes it easier to water the goats and water the plants. And it's also got a roof on it so that it's shelter for the goats. It's not perfect, but you can tell the goats have been here, and look at how well things are growing back. Yes, there are spots that haven't come back yet, but these are areas that where the goats have been has just done fantastically. I'm so pleased. And when I did let the horses, my friends' horses and cows in here, the first thing they did was smash down this really nice grass. And they completely left this stuff. They didn't want to have anything to do with that stuff, which was the stuff I was hoping they were going to eat, and they didn't, which is really unfortunate. See, I think I've got some amaranth come up here, so eventually I'll be putting this up there and planting a tree in there. But at the moment, I'm still physically recovering from moving house. That might be a pigeon pea germinated. I'm not sure. That definitely looks like an amaranth. I had those at Eagleby. Like, I think it's an amaranth. Anyway, so I need to get mulch in here, but at the moment I'm having major problems with my hands and my shoulders. I thought it might have been the weather, but now the doctor's saying that it's probably related to the flu, and I may have gotten something like reactive arthritis or something. I don't know, but my thumbs are very, very sore. It's making it very difficult to milk the goats, which is a real problem. It's highlighting the need to find another alternative for if something goes wrong with my hands. But look at all of this. This is just so much feed. I'm just so excited about how well this is going. And you can see, look, you can see where the goats have been. It's the area that's growing the best is where the goats have been. Even this area, I mean, it's not growing as well, but I didn't have them here for as long either. It's still doing better than the rest of the paddock. The goats have made a huge, huge impact where they have been. It's just really exciting. That was not caused by the goats. That was like that before the goats. This area's been in drought for 4 years. And sorry, that sweat pouring in my eyes. I'm still not well. I really shouldn't be out here, but I'm running out of March to do my March garden tour. And paddocks don't really count as garden tour, I guess. And I still got to show you the aquaponics. It is doing fantastically, and the fish are growing so much. But they are starting to slow down in their feeding now because the weather is cooling down. But this is a spot where I had the goats last. And look at how much it's just greening up already. I had them here just before the rain started. And look at how much growth has come back. I am just so pleased with how well they're repairing these paddocks. And I've got to show you where I've got Laura at the moment, because it is just absolutely amazing. But I've got the white australops up here, and they did have a bit of a problem during the rain, because this paddock ends up with like a sheet of water running across it, and the water just sits on it and becomes very sloppy. So this is the first time I've actually been out since the rain stopped. Oh look, pumpkin germinated. So yeah, so during the rain, I actually put a huge amount of wood chips in here. I'm going to have to give these girls some water because they've run out. But I put a heap of wood chips down there so they had somewhere safe to sit that wasn't wet. And I did put tarpaulin over the top too, but it flew off. Oh look, an egg. I'll get Matthew to come out and sort that out. That's one of his little jobs. But look at that. I've had the goats and the chickens move over this little patch of grass, and it is just amazing in comparison to the rest of the paddock. This section here is just doing fantastically, and it's a matter of, I have the goats and the chickens here for a short period of time and then move them on so the ground gets a chance to recover. But I'm so pleased. But let's go check out what's happening with Laura. So this area over here that I have Laura in at the moment, I've actually had the goats in this whole section quite a few times, but this particular section here, I actually had it fenced off. There was about maybe 3 meters by 4 meter panels in there, and this section of grass is growing heaps better than that. Now I did have the goats in here, an electric fence all the way around this area here, and it is doing so much better now since that happened. But that area is a good, the grass was a good 2 foot taller. If you go back and see the video where I first put Laura in here, it was only a couple of days ago, but yeah, she's really enjoying chomping that grass down. But I'm just amazed at how well that grass is doing. I mean, even if you look at this section here, the goats have been here a few times, but it's not doing half as well as that area over there. But let's go have a look at the aquaponics. So the last part of the garden is the aquaponics. Oh look, oh, did you see them? There were a few fish. Oh well, I've really got to get a GoPro. I have a GoFundMe. The link's in the description if you want to help fund a GoPro. That would be fantastic. But the Okinawa spinach is doing well. Look at that comfrey leaf. That is just phenomenal. The basil is just getting ridiculous. Hang on for a second. Every time I come out to do a video, the 4-year-old's got to nick off with some of the salon spinach. So yeah, the celery is doing really well in there. The pella's doing well. Marigolds are lovely. And my little mini peppers. I got one in there that's nearly ready to pick. Very exciting. Shallots are doing well. Everything over there is doing well. One of my leeks is not doing so well. It seems to be curling up its toes. I haven't had that happen before. But that's not tragic. Look at the cucumber. I think it was last month's tour that this was actually covered in aphids, and it is doing really, really well now. I've noticed heaps of lady beetles on here cleaning up all the aphids, so I'm really pleased with that. That disaster in there. You've got the goats over there, so that's where it was over before. I've got my 2 bananas, one there and one there. So yeah, this is all doing well. Some more basil that's self-sown, some lettuces that are self-sown, some weeds that I should pull out. These little strawberries, little strawberry runners are starting to think about putting some roots down, which is lovely. My marigolds are flowering lovely, so they're attracting lots of little beneficial insects. The longevity spinach is doing fantastically. I really should transplant some of that out in other parts of the garden. And the basil is just, it blows my mind every time. Ooh. A little wasp of some sort. Anyway, so that's the garden update for March. Everything's growing beautifully. We've had oodles of rain, well over 150 litres, 150 mil. If you want to see, so this stuff here, this is all fish waste that's coming up. Now I don't have a solids filter on my system. The grow beds are my solids filter, and the worms will actually eat all of that stuff, and it helps to create extra fertility in the beds. So yeah, anyway, you have a great one. Any comments, questions or suggestions, leave them below, and I'll get back to you and I'll see you in the next video. Bless you, have a great one. Every time I come out to do a video, the 4-year-old's got to nick off with some of the salon spinach. So yeah, the celery is doing really well in there. The pella's doing well. Marigolds are lovely. And my little mini peppers. I got one in there that's nearly ready to pick. Very exciting. Shallots are doing well. Everything over there is doing well. One of my leeks is not doing so well. It seems to be curling up its toes. I haven't had that happen before. But that's not tragic. Look at the cucumber. I think it was last month's tour that this was actually covered in aphids, and it is doing really, really well now. I've noticed heaps of lady beetles on here cleaning up all the aphids, so I'm really pleased with that. That disaster in there. You've got the goats over there, so that's where it was over before. I've got my 2 bananas, one there and one there. So yeah, this is all doing well. Some more basil that's self-sown, some lettuces that are self-sown, some weeds that I should pull out. These little strawberries, little strawberry runners are starting to think about putting some roots down, which is lovely. My marigolds are flowering lovely, so they're attracting lots of little beneficial insects. The longevity spinach is doing fantastically. I really should transplant some of that out in other parts of the garden. And the basil is just, it blows my mind every time. Ooh. A little wasp of some sort. Anyway, so that's the garden update for March. Everything's growing beautifully. We've had oodles of rain, well over 150 litres, 150 mil. If you want to see, so this stuff here, this is all fish waste that's coming up. Now I don't have a solids filter on my system. The grow beds are my solids filter, and the worms will actually eat all of that stuff, and it helps to create extra fertility in the beds. So yeah, anyway, you have a great one. Any comments, questions or suggestions, leave them below and I'll get back to you and I'll see you in the next video. Bless you. Have a great one.